Hello, fearless souls. In today's video, I thought about covering the topic of the Hunab K'u in more depth. Hunab K'u is what the mayans describe as the cosmic central sun located in the middle of the Milky Way Galaxy, the original point of oneness from which all creation expanded. Our whole solar system is rotating around this cosmic central sun in a cycle of 26,000 years. And this is why the Tzolk'in, the sacred calendar of the Mayans, is also known as the Galactic calendar because its 260 days are a fractal of this great cycle. To learn more about the Tzolk'in and its structure, you can check out the video, The Structure of the Tzolk'in. Hunab K'u is also known as the Galactic Core or the Cosmic Womb. And I found it fascinating that modern-day scientists have discovered that within the middle of the Milky Way Galaxy is a huge black hole, which makes the whole cosmic womb thing even more fascinating and quite an accurate description of this cosmic central sun, which makes the Mayans even more fascinating because they were able to know the structure of the galaxy without any of the use of our modern day equipment. To understand more about who the Mayans were and what their accomplishments were, you can check out the video Who Were the Original Mayans. So, going back to the black hole. A black hole is a place in space-time where the gravitational field of a star or galaxy gets so intense that nothing can withstand it. It just gets sucked in. There have been many speculations as to what is inside a black hole. Some say that it's a portal towards another place in space-time or even a portal towards another dimension. But within this black hole or this cosmic central sun, we find a dense core of information, a synthesis of everything within the universal order. The information is condensed here and transmitted as high frequency waves or galactic beams. Recently, physicists have discovered how we are all influenced by beams or waves passing through the galaxy. And in astrophysics, these beams are described as density waves that pass through the galaxy and influence galactic evolution. For example, the birth of our sun is the result of such a density wave that came along and ignited a giant star which exploded and birthed our sun into existence. And it's not only our sun. All stars and suns were actually formed mainly due to these beams passing throughout the galaxy. And every star is coordinated by the energy and information that is transmitted by the Hunab K'u. The dense core of this living and beating galactic heart broadcasts a continuous series of signals, kind of like radio signals. These radio signals correspond to the vast galactic matrix of resonance. So we can say that Hunab K'u is like a huge and powerful cosmic radio station. It's constantly pulsating and emitting those waves or beams, and each of them carry different programs coordinating all the members of the organism of the galaxy. Jose Arguelles contemplated in one of his books, can't remember which one, the fact that the galaxy is like a living organism, one involved in its own development. From here, we can begin talking about the self-organizing dynamics of the galaxy. And if the galaxy is a living organism, then we can begin to see how the stars, how the suns are activated by dynamics governed by the galactic center. And this happens in the same way that our eyes are activated by dynamics governed by our own organism. So we can kind of begin to imagine the suns or stars as cells or organs within this vast cosmic organism. The Galactic Core emits the galactic master program that is transmitted to different planetary star systems through their local sun. Our own sun is operating based upon the galactic program emitted from the core of the galaxy. Our sun is continuously emitting sets of patterns that are in the same time energy and information that it receives from the galactic source. So if the Hunab K'u is like the cosmic radio station, our sun is kind of like the radio in our car, which receives the broadcasts coming from the galactic core and transmits them to us. Ever since our sun was birthed 4.55 billion years ago, galactic density beams have been passing through it. Whenever these beams pass through our sun, they alter its dynamics and the radiant energy that falls on the earth. So the Mayans were actually engaged with the mind of the sun, through which they could engage with the mind and heart of the galaxy. For them, the cosmic core was the one giver of movement and measure. Movement represents energy, the principle of life, the all-pervading formless consciousness within all phenomena. Within the Mayan code, this principle of movement is represented through the 13 lunar tones that you can learn more about in the video, the 13 lunar tones. Now, movement is the principle of form and shape, and it is responsible for all the different limiting qualities that the energy, the principle of movement represented by the 13 lunar tones, takes in its different transformations. The principle of measure is represented through the 20 solar seals within the Mayan code. I speak up more about them in the video called the 20 solar seals. Just like a gigantic circuit, the galaxy can be depicted through a series of streams of energy pulsing at a specific rate. And just as in any circuit, each pulse of the energy streams has a common point of origin and a common end, and that is the galactic core, the Hunab K'u. This circuit is basically what the Mayans described as the Zuvuya circuit, the field where everything comes from and returns to the source, moving in the same time forwards and backwards from the source. I speak more about the Zuvuya in the video called the Zuvuya circuit. Hunab K'u is described as having a spin and a counterspin movement, radiating outwards from the center point of energy. This movement is perfectly depicted in the symbol that the Mayans had for the Hunab K'u, which reminds me a lot of the yin and yang symbol coming from a culture all across the globe, all the way from China. This movement of the Hunab K'u can be seen as the in and out breath of this vast galactic organism. One movement is a series of numbers growing from a more simple pulsation to a more complex one, from smaller to bigger numbers, and the other movement is moving from a more complex pulsation to a more simple pulsation, going from bigger to smaller numbers. So the spin pulses at frequencies represented by numbers moving from 1 to 13, from simple to complex, and the counter spin is represented by the series of number from 13 to 1. The way I picture all of this is that with the in breath, it goes from complex to simple, from 13 to 1, just as in the in breath, we take from the complex world around us and we go back to the simple, to the silence within our being found between breaths. And the out breath is moving from 1 to 13, from simple to complex, when we release that breath of air from the center of our being and we return it to the complex unfolding around us. So If we were to arrange the spin movement as a series of numbers from 1 to 13 and then add the counter spin from 13 to 1, we'll notice that the paired sum of the numbers is always 14. Now, if you remember when I spoke to you in the video, how our kin influences us, or was it the structure of our kin? Anyway, one of these two videos, I mentioned that the perfect hidden power always carries the tone, which added to our original tone adds up to 14. So this means that if I am the spectral tone, my perfect hidden power is going to be the electric tone, spectral being tone 11, electric being tone 3, 11 plus 3 equals 14. And just as we have numbers moving backwards and forwards in relationship to each other, in the same way, time is not just a linear movement, but the simultaneous movement of coming from and returning to the galactic core. And this is just like the infinity symbol that I explained about in the video about the Zvuya. And it's exactly because we perceive time moving in just one linear direction rather than an infinite cyclical movement that we are condemned to see only a part of the whole picture of reality. Radiating in spiraling spin and counter-spin pulsations from the Hunab K'u, we find the source code guiding the self-transmitting and self-transforming power of radiant energy. This galactic source code is the main source of information and vitalization of the DNA, the code of life. The information flowing between planets like ours and the galactic core is maintained and moderated by the solar activity that we call binary sunspots of the local star or sun. But all of this is going to be the topic of the next video, otherwise this video is going to be longer than it already is. Now, within this galactic matrix, no matter how far away from the galactic core we might be, one of the functions of this matrix is maintaining its integrity throughout the entire galaxy. This means that the information coming from the core can be found throughout the entire galaxy because the energy emanating from the core is radial. Now, this basically means that no matter how far away we are from the source, we are always connected to the source, to the cosmic central sun. And this connection happens through what the mayans describe as the Kuksan Sum, the energetical umbilical cord tying us to our sun and through our sun all the way to the cosmic central sun. Through the Kuksan Sum, we are connected to the galactic core, to the cosmic unity at all times. And once we realize this connection and we open up to really feel it, we can arrive to the point of perceiving the whole and aligning to it accordingly, both individually and collectively. Whenever we follow energy back to its source, it will always lead us back to the Hunab K'u. And I actually read 10 years ago, I think, an amazing book called The Thanatonauts by Bernard Werber, a beautiful science fiction novel about a group of scientists investigating life after death, where the soul of those who would die would return to the center of the galaxy within the black hole to be birthed again. Really recommend the book. So I end today's video by reminding you of the next workshop that I have coming up, Initiation into the Dream Spell Calendar. 7 hours divided over 2 days of going over the codes and patterns of the Dream Spell Calendar on 10-11 April. The workshop is registration based, so Send me an email in order to register and save your spot. You'll also be receiving PDF books to ease your process of integrating the dream spell, and also a short kin description. If you have any questions about the dream spell or about the workshop, or if you want to decode your galactic signature and discover more about your galactic identity, you can write me a message either on my Facebook page or on my email. Until the next time, wishing you a day filled with gratitude. In Lak'Ech.